What's up? My name is Cletus Coffee, and I'm hopefully that you, wherever you're joining me from, whatever channel you're on, you need to know this. Going into tonight, whether you are going to a Friday night light football game, maybe you have volleyball players, whatever sports or activities your kids are doing, I'm willing to bet you're going there and your eyes are going to be on the scoreboard. You want to know how the team's doing. And I want to bring to your attention that that's not where your eyes need to be. And in fact, for most of us, the scoreboard is actually our enemy. I shouldn't say most of it, it's all of us. The scoreboard is actually your enemy. So the thing about sport is there's an endless procession of connections to life, and sports mirrors life. So when I say take your eyes off the scoreboard on the field tonight, you also need to be taking your eyes off the scoreboard in life. So if you're a business owner, if you're a father, if you are somebody who's driven, and usually the scoreboard is something that results, outcomes are something that you're really interested in. And I'm here to tell you that that's the wrong thing to be looking at. In fact, it is your enemy. Hear me out. I'm going to phrase in two sports just because I come. Okay, I guess we're back live. For some reason, there was some sort of disconnect. Nonetheless, the connection between sport and life, sport and business, sport and parenting, there's so much crossover there. So I'm going to share just from a perspective of sport, because I know a lot of you may be going to games. A lot of you may have kids and you're trying to support your young athlete. And then I'm going to tie it together here at the end with life, business, uh, parenting, etc. So in sport, look, we need the scoreboard because in the container that sports is, we need to know who won the game because of standings, uh, road to a championship, those type of things. However, all the scoreboard really is feedback. And young people today, adults today, they get hung up on the scoreboard, and what they're not recognizing is just it's information. It's information on how we're doing. If we won the game on the scoreboard, then we can say, okay, these are the things we did well. That'll put us in position to have more points or more goals, or to beat our opponent. And or we didn't, we were on the lower end of the scoreboard. We didn't have as many points, goals, etc. Then we didn't know, okay, that's information based on what we need to work on, what we need to do to get better. The challenge is young people and adults alike, they focus on the scoreboard as the primary goal. It's not the goal. Why? Because you can't control it. An athlete cannot control the score of the game. You cannot control how much money you make. Yes, you can't control it. You can't control your customers. You can't control your competitors. You can't control if you are working at a career. You can't control your company, whether they're going to stay afloat, whether your manager, you're the owner wants to keep you on board. You can't control any of that. And so we have to disconnect from that. Yes, the scoreboard is not the goal. Appreciate you. So we have to disconnect from that. So what we need to recognize is that in life, the scoreboard is just information. I'll tell you what, Hall of Fame football coach Bill Walsh, Stanford Cardinal, San Francisco 49ers, Super Bowl champion. He even wrote a book about it. The score takes care of itself. And this is where we've been hoodwinked. We've been lied to in that, especially here in the US, like our results, our outcomes are what matters. Here's the thing. I can tell you countless times in sport where we won the game and I wasn't happy. I didn't play very well, or I got beat on a particular play, or I didn't run my best, even though we won. And, or I, got injured. I mean, there's so much that we look at, we put into the scoreboard. So what happens is we attach our self-worth and our identity to the scoreboard. I could have had the best game of my life, but if we lost on the scoreboard, I wasn't happy. So what ends up happening is, and the thing about that, and I'll say is, it's something that we ultimately can't control. The scoreboard lies to you because there's not a winner and a loser. You either win or you learn. That's it. There is no losing in this process. You are learning. And this goes right into life that so many people gloss over because we get so addicted to the scoreboard. And we're conditioned very early on. You've probably heard me say this before, but if you imagine you, parents, give yourself some grace when I say this. There's probably been a time when your young athlete or student or whatever activities your child is in, they went off and played in that game and you couldn't go because you were working or you were with your other child, and the child came home and the first question you asked them was, did you win? Or kind of this sneaky question, how'd you do? You're really just asking what happened on the scoreboard. And so what we're conditioning young people to, that the first thing that we ask them, what's most important, is the score. Yet it's one thing they can't control. So fast forward to adulthood and it's a summer barbecue. You got the neighbor over. The neighbor leans over and says, the Joneses down the street, they're really successful. What are they referring to? Money, car in the driveway, sweet IG pics of their vacation. They must be successful. Scoreboard, scoreboard, scoreboard. And from a man's perspective, oftentimes we are considered successful when we have a lot of money in the bank. We have got that nice car, the sweet wristwear. Then we're considered successful. Not because we're incredibly good partners, lovers, we are great fathers, friends, sons, brothers. No. That's just a given. That doesn't mean you're successful. That just means you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're successful when you've made some money, when you've produced, you've performed, you've provided as a man. This puts a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on our shoulders. Unnecessary weight that you're carrying because you're looking at that scoreboard. Now, it's not your fault. Society has conditioned you to believe that that's what's most important. But you can't control it. So we have to break up with the scoreboard. Take your eyes off of it. And the reason this really comes into play, and just bear with me here, I'm going to try something I've never done before. So I'm going to give it the old college try here. I'm not going to do it. Screw it. I was going to screen share, but I'm just going to riff here. What I'm going to do, what I want you to consider is that the scoreboard is a lot of what makes us human. So our money, our relationship, our cars, our businesses, our being a dad, those type of things, they all live on the human dimension. That's where the scoreboard lives. And we're constantly looking at, okay, how much money did I make? How many people did I impact? How many times did I have sex this week? Did I take, how many times did I watch the kids this week? It's just all scoreboard related. And I know, having been in relationships where I've shown up as a competitor on the scoreboard with my partner, they're not my competitor. Your partner is your ally. And yet we find ourselves saying, well, hold on. I've been with the kids the last 2 nights. It's your night this week to take the kids. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go have a drink. I'm going to go hang out with my friend, whatever. And we're comparing, we're looking at the scoreboard, and thus challenges pop up. Resentment pops up, withdrawing, disconnecting, avoiding things. And I'm talking from a man's standpoint versus stepping up and saying, okay, I can't control it. So let's talk through these things. And when I say the human dimension, right? Those are most things that makes us human in this 3D world that we live in. However, I want you to consider the being dimension. So the human dimension lives on this horizontal plane, the being on this vertical plane, and the being dimension, all the things that you want from the scoreboard exists on the being dimension. I'm willing to bet within about 3 or 4 questions, you may come to me and say, hey, man, I want some more money. And I get it. I know that game really well. And I've had, the work works you. I've had to learn through this process that it's not the money that I want. It's what, because money is just a conduit. Right? What is it that I want from it? Oh, I want a roof over my head. I want to go on a date night. I want to get a gift. I want to go on a vacation. It's the things that money provide allows us to experience. And so we tend to think that I need to put that on my shoulders. I got to go create that. I need to go make that happen. Even to this day, I'm still working through a lot of those lessons. And so what the scoreboard does is it blinds us to it, because we only think we won if the money showed up on the scoreboard, or we got that vacation, or we bought the nice new car. And then we find, oh, I won. Yes. I landed the new client. I won. I'm going to flip you back to sports. Is it possible that you could play an entire game? It's Friday night. Let's say it's a football game, that you played an entire game and lost. Yet, could you have gotten better in that process? Could you play an entire game, lose, but still have gotten better? The answer is yes. And that's what so many of us, especially dudes, forget, because we are conditioned to the scoreboard and the ultimate outcome. When in fact, there was a body of work that went into this process with these little micro wins, little wins along the way that may not have shown up on the scoreboard in the 3D world. But if we can look back and go, oh yeah, there was a win there. I can build from that. And I'm willing to bet that if we dove into some of your mistakes, some of your challenges, that there's lessons and wins that exist in there. But we don't want to talk about that, because that was pain. That was setbacks. I'm going to stuff that down, when in fact, there's a lesson in there to be learned. And you think about any former relationship of yours that you've had, and you look back and go, man, that relationship sucked. That was toxic. That was abusive. That was whatever. Within that, there are lessons, which are, if you have the courage to tap into one of those lessons, there's wins in that. And so wouldn't you know that even though the scoreboard shows that you were not on the winning side, that you were winning all along. And those little wins, if you could recognize them, learn how to learn the lessons from them, that you are actually putting yourself on the path to having a winning, enjoyable, fulfilling experience. Because that's the human dimension. That's where fulfillment lives. That's where happiness lives. Enjoyment, that all lives in the being dimension. So think about it. When's the last time you went on a vacation and you were there, maybe panicking, going, how am I going to afford this? Or on the vacation and thinking about work, thinking about making a phone call, sending some emails, and not enjoying it, not appreciating it, not experiencing it. And I say the word experience because, guys, the scoreboard teaches us to achieve and accomplish. Man, that's the wrong way to go. The more you are focusing on achieving and accomplishing, the more the stress, worry, anxiety, depression is going to rise, because we, especially as men, attach our self-worth and our identity to the scoreboard. If I'm winning, I feel good about myself. Yeah, I got this. I'm good. And if we are not winning, we are hitting roadblocks, we're faced with challenges. What's wrong with me? I didn't make that sale. Oh, I must not be good enough. Oh, no. Or we start blaming, complaining, and justifying. Oh, that was the customer's issue. Or it's my company's whatever sales process. Or it's the economy. Oh, how many times I hear people right now in 2025 going, it's the economy. I have no doubt that there may be some challenges for people out there. And I honor and I'm empathetic for those who are having challenges. And get better. Get better. There's wins in there. Where are you winning? So, in order to see those opportunities, those wins, we have to take our eyes off the scoreboard. It will take care of itself. Don't worry about that. You focus on really, there's only three things you can control. That's it. Three simple things: your attitude, your effort, and your response. That's it. That's all you can control. Everything else, you surrender to, let go. And practically speaking, I recognize that's not easy, especially if you have a paradigm that's been formed of years and years of you need to produce, perform, and provide as a man. You need to achieve and accomplish as a man. There's not a lot of room for purpose, meaning, fulfillment, enjoyment in that world. And so I'm willing to bet that you have come to a place where you're like, what am I doing? I'm here just adding some numbers into a bank account that I look online, but I'm not in this. My experience here on earth is not in this. I'm not feeling meaning, purpose. I don't have a mission in this. And we as dudes, we need that. And the first step in doing that is taking your eyes off the scoreboard. Just trust and believe. If you have a strong foundation to source, to God, to believe that that will take care of itself. I tell you, sometimes you got to take your own medicine. And I say the work works me, because a lot of this, really the 5 key areas that I focus on: your focus, your family, your fitness, your fortune, and your foundation, which is a connection to a higher power. And here's the thing: not all of us are going to be growing in all 5 areas at the same time. There's levels to this, because in one of those areas, I'm willing to bet anyone listening to this right now, in one of those areas, you came into this world with a constraint in one of those areas. Maybe it was a money constraint. That's me. Maybe it was a health constraint. Maybe you've had challenge with gaining weight, or blood pressure, or diabetes, or things that were in your control or out of control. You came in with health constraints. Maybe you came in with relationship constraints. I know I came in with one of those, and I had to heal that. I didn't recognize it. I went through some challenging relationships, not realizing that, I got to heal this part of me so I can step into a relationship as a true, authentic myself, and find someone who's gone through the similar process, who is healing, and we can come together and heal together. I didn't understand that. I had to just get my ass kicked in relationships to recognize that, I need to do something about that. There's some learning lessons in this that I need to recognize. And I tell you what, man, that's a huge win. So in one of those 5 areas, you came in with some constraints that you have an opportunity in this world to heal. And maybe it was more than one. For me, health, never been an issue. No problem. It's not even, I don't even think twice about it. Relationships, major issue for me. Had to work on that. Money, major issue for me. Still working on that, growing and evolving. And the scoreboard detracts us from doing the actual work. And the work is on you. It's your attitude, your effort, and your response. The scoreboard will take care of itself. And so to close out here, the myth is, as guys, we need to go produce, perform, provide. We got to achieve and accomplish. That is a myth. That is not what you're here to do. If you happen to get outcomes on the scoreboard that are in your favor, awesome. Fantastic. If you don't, awesome. Fantastic. There's an opportunity for you to learn and grow in that. So we got to disconnect from the scoreboard so we can see those wins and actually see some movement, some growth. And we can actually experience the outcomes that we get. So once they do think about it. How many times I have talked to men who are like, dude, I got the money and I hate my life. Men who are overwhelmed, stressed, worried. They're disconnected. They got loot, but they don't have it. And they're disconnected from it. And that's because of the scoreboard. And they put in so much in the human dimension, they're disconnected from the being. So wouldn't it be nice to have the results, the relationship, the love, intimacy, the sex, the connection, the money, the business, the connection with your children? Wouldn't it be nice to have all those things and you actually get to enjoy them and experience them versus seeing them as a burden, as an issue in your life? So, where do we go from here? Fellas, there are various doors that we have open and I have open within my programs. I'm just going to share one of them with you here. If you simply just click on this QR code here, guys, this is going to get you to my Master Your Morning Routine. A great place to start, fellas, is investing in you. And for those of you that are watching live, you can click on that QR code. For those of you who are listening so amazingly and graciously on the podcast, you can see that in the show notes. However, this is a great place to start to get into my world, my environment, so that I can connect with you and share with you more information. But this right here, primarily, is going to help you set the course. You're going to get a worksheet that I'm asking you to put up on your fridge, and I'm going to send you a series of 7 videos over the next 7 days to help guide you through this program so that you can start to make the first launching point of your day about you, not about emails, text messages, fires you got to put out, not about taking care of the kids, not about connecting with your soulmate, your partner. All those things are important, except it doesn't make you are cheating them from the opportunity of getting the full version of you until you go into you first. So Master Your Morning will help you do that. Shred your body, stack your wealth, fire up your sex life, all before 9 a.m. So go ahead and hit that, my friends. Thank you all so much for your time and attention joining me here live. If you are going to a game out there, best of luck, Friday Night Lights, whatever sport your child is participating in. Take your eyes off the scoreboard. And when the game ends, here's what I want you to do. Ask your child when they get in the car or you see them back at campus or at home, simply ask them, hey, where'd you get better today? Get them focusing on what they can control. At the end of your day today, it's Friday, ask yourself, now, how much money you made today? How many calls you made? Did you hit your quota? Ask yourself, where did I get better today? One day at a time, my friends. See you next time.